Good morning, beautiful. I hope that this finds you well rested and ready to begin your day. This is your daily tarot oracle, your daily insight on life and love for July 25th, 2022. Also being timeless. Wherever you're catching a time, it might be relevant, it might be irrelevant, or it might be entertaining. But that's all onto you. So, if you found your way across this, stick around. There might be a show here for you or some sort of relevance. If not, feel free to discard it. It's general collective. But also, if you have questions about booking any sort of private reading or any of the services I provide at the beginning and the end of the video, there is all the ways of contact, and we can talk about what might be right for you. Sales, pricing, discounts, availability, time zones, all that jazz. Hopefully I'm not, yeah, here we go. All right, so let's see. We're gonna kick this off with the Knight of Wands. Major messages are incoming, and they seem to be coming in fast, and they seem to be positive and very action oriented. It's something that is coming out of nowhere, and it seems to be a very fiery type energy. And since this is heating up, your situation is heating up, I see that there's going to be a lot of quick and potentially irate movement. I think that this is going to be something that you have to really push discipline on for yourself, and action in this is going to prove to be completely open and honest and very powerful. I do see that there is the potential to grow from the action, and I also see that this is very future oriented, so you are putting a plan into action in your environment. I love this very much. I do feel like this is very much fate, and these are like the pillar points of the fated cycle that is coming in, and it's a very positive one too. I know that it's going to hit up, it is going to be intense, but all around this seems to be really, really good for you. There's a significant amount of power in this. I don't feel like there's I'm not seeing the sun in this, but I know that the sun is being beating down on you. So the sun is the happiest card of the deck. It just is. Like, this is a very positive sign to have. But since it's not being visually represented in here, but we can see the sun beating on it on this person and also the pyramids in the back, it seems like that has to be kind of the backdrop message of whatever the messages are coming in. This is for your life, this is for your happiness, this is for your adventure, and it's not going to invade, I think, any sort of healing that is coming in. I see that that is actually going to be pretty expansive as you are kind of going through the motions of speaking out. It's very interesting, but also there's going to be a ton realizations about this entire thing. So here we have somebody who's pretty much, for the sake of gravity, gonna fall off this chair. Every single one of their cups is emptied out. Very stone cold, sober truth about the reality of their situation, where they had been, and that this is somebody who is lacking discipline, who has not been doing their healing because they didn't have the confidence to do so. And this feels like somebody who feels very lonely yet is surrounded by people. So a lot of misinterpretations about what's really going on in their world. So I think that this might be fuel to the physical fire and the changes that they're making in their life. They've had to learn to really adapt, and I see that this is somebody who has had to adapt to numerous unfavorable positions in their life. They know that they are launching themselves from something that is a really harsh reality, but the direction that they're going in is bam. The King of Wands. I love the King of Wands. Super charismatic, action oriented. This is the knight that became the king in here. They no longer need to protect themselves as such. They have put themselves as the ruler. They're not ruled by a lack of confidence. They're not ruled by a sense of intensity. This is somebody who's very aware of what they're capable of and how perseverant and resilient they've had to be. So I still see there's no confusion around them. They're very comfortable with the decisions and actions they are making in their life. I think that they are starting to see how sensitive they are to the people around them and also their actual physical environment. So this is something that they can easily take off and disassociate themselves from and not have it ruin their thought process and not have it be something where they lose their heart in. I see that this is a more secure energy that is straight in their crown on their head, and they speak from a place of love. I do see that. I see that there's a lot of growing that has taken place. There's still more to do, and it feels very green. A lot of the actions that they're inspired by are actions of the heart. And I do feel like this is very much passion ridden too. So I think that launching from a place of insecurity, sense of inferiority, harsh reality, truth, I don't feel like they utilized as a way to make excuses for poor behavior or poor choices. They saw what they didn't want to experience and they were able to change course. Now I still see that they are learning to adapt, but they have learned to build pretty sturdy foundations in what seems to be a very deserted area. So I think that this is not only about control, it's also about learning how to look for resources elsewhere, but it's you who has to actually do the looking for the resources. For example, you're not going to be able to find these resources in another human being. You can have help from somebody, but this is not going to be the constant flow of resource for you. You have to take whatever you can learn from it and have that kind of in yourself as the endless resource. How can you obtain or have that type of influence your life, I guess I want to say, and have your own endless stream of confidence and resourcefulness? I see that what seems to be a very harsh environment that you had to learn to adapt and thrive in soon is no longer a desert. Those pyramids in the back now become the rolling hills, and there's a pathway that's in them, and I love it. It leads to a sun, which is, there's a lot of mountains that are around it, but those mountains are healing. Those mountains are riddled with speaking out and facing challenges head on. Now, when we look at it, the path, it has all these really high peaks and really low valleys. It's shaped by the land around it, which to me means that you are learning how to ride the wave. You're not avoiding the pains and catastrophes of life. You're really just working with, I guess, the best of what you've got. You are working on a pathway that does lead to happiness, and I do feel like you are a very divinely protected individual. I do feel like you are getting more grounded and you're learning how to really take your time. This has become more of a intense message as time has progressed. We had some court cards and it went into a major arcana card. So learning to make decisions that are not only emotional, but I see it's something that is going to cleanse you and put you in the flow of whichever the direction is that you need to go. But also you have one foot on land, one foot in the water. You're not going to fully throw yourself in anything. You're going to take your time and really look at everything and pick it apart for what it is. Look at all your resources, look at all your options. You have created everything from a sense of nothing, and it just continues to blossom. This is somebody who is no longer going to let any sort of toxicity rule them. I do feel like they have been challenged numerous times and they have come to earn their wings. This person is walking around with a sense of enlightenment. The trials and tribulations of their life have not ruined them, it's made them stronger. And I do see that this is involving any sort of I guess I want to say, mental breaks. We all have those at some point. I see that you're able to spring back with obviously appropriate help, but the break led to a major breakthrough with you. I see your world slowing down. You had to learn how to slow down. Now, I get it. You're probably sitting there, standing there, walking around going, yeah, I haven't moved at all. You kind of have, even if you're not seeing it right now. So then, we have the High Priestess. We go from masculine to this sense of unity, this androgynous angel who has the balance of the masculine, feminine, and now it looks like you're reaching into your very high feminine energy with this beautiful sense of balance, sense of complete, open, honest transparency, transparency, I think I mean to say that. But also, they're wearing this blue cloak. So communication is going to be the path forward, being completely clear in what it is that you are saying. I do feel like there is the acknowledgement that you do wear your heart on a sleeve, and in the past it was on clothes that were not your own because this was makeshift from the environment around you. But now I feel like this is something that you can own, and you do honor your sensitivity. I do remember at the beginning of this, it seemed like you're kind of guarding from it, but I'm seeing that you're taking that sensitivity and you're running with it. There are going to be points of standing still and reflecting, and there are times of slow movement that are going to be coming through, but everything is going to be coming in due time. And I see that there's a lot of detachment from staying stuck in whatever it is that you have created. It is allowing the space for this to continually grow and change completely. I do see that you are going to be putting a high investment not only into yourself but to whatever this path is. It's not that you're throwing yourself in, because remember, Temperance was talking about 1 foot in, 1 foot on land. I see that this is going to be high stakes changes that you are doing, and you're ready to shed the skin. You're ready to shed the feeling of insecure. I kind of feel like through this transformation, you never fully let yourself let go of that ability to feel insecure or feel vulnerable. And I see that this was a way to keep you almost highly attuned to any sort of weak points, but now you've been kind of numbed out by it because it's been this constant source of needing to look for a moment and nothing happening to where you can actually finally let this go. So it looks like we're not looking at stability from this anymore. It's letting this be the chaos that it is, letting yourself lose that false foundation and having the strength to get through it. So this is going to be another wave of a trying time that is coming into play, but I want to see what this is going to involve, because the land is still very fertile. The troubles are in the distance. This is riddled by a sense of confidence and discipline, and yet we have this hunter right here, this lion. It is absolutely a hunter, and this person is so at ease with it. It's something that they have the ability to have control over. They know that they're still blossoming as a person. They know that they're protected. They know that abundance is theirs for the taking. It's the 8th card, for God's sakes. But they also know that there's some things that they do need to shed and that they're going to have to face, and that it's going to require strength for them to step fully into abundance. So, hold on. Okay, so I'm getting pulled to 2 decks. We're going to see what this wants to tell you. Very interesting. So, oh, and the Magician wants to make a grand appearance. Putting them down, and happy. Okay. Hold on one sec. I need to take just a quick second. Started getting like a little bit of the tunnel vision while I was doing this, and I was pulling cards, and I need a quick moment to have a sip of coffee and get grounded. But okay, we have 7, 3, and 1. So we have the Seven of Cups, meaning that there are so many ways that you can take this change. Any of the decisions that you make, they're not going to be wrong. They're just going to be made decisions. It's a decision on what it is that you will be kind of putting yourself into, putting yourself towards. The happy is in reverse. So I know that you're going through a rebirth, and I know that you have everything needed to make this a new kind of happy. There's a lot that you need to figure out about yourself, about what it's going to take. It could be something actually very simple for you, and I do feel like it will be. I see that this as restoring a sense of balance, because look, this feels like it's getting back to that balance of masculine and feminine, knowing that it's going to take strength to get through it, and that overusage of the masculine or the feminine is going to cause them destruction. So it's in their best interest to go get grounded and come back. So I see them coming back level-headed, weighing out all their options. Some are more extravagant, some are pretty adventurous, some are just basic as could possibly be, and they're being held up by clouds. So this person isn't quite sure what they want to do, so they're going to take their time and they're going to weigh out every single one of their options. What is their ambition? What is their drive? Is the old story still true for them? And I don't think that it is, because the happy from the wisdom of the oracle shows up and it's in reverse. The old story, the old path that they were on, it's not going to make them happy. And this is going to be something that they have exhausted up to the point to where they can no longer lie to themselves about this. What they had originally wanted was from a very different mindset and set of circumstances in life. And now that they have pushed themselves through the ringer like this, they're ready for a rebirth. So they're still figuring out what it is that they want to do, but before they decide what they want to do, they have to weigh out their options. They have to reestablish their why. Why did they want what they had wanted? What brought them to that conclusion? And since so much of them has evolved since, is that old story true? And again, I don't think that it is. So how are you going to find out this new story? And that's where I'm feeling daily guidance from your angels. Ooh. What do you desire? Okay, so I want you to think like a child. These two are at the bottom, by the way. I want you to think like a child. It's not the same circumstances you were before, but what makes you come alive? When nobody's watching, when nobody's around, when every single one of your daily accomplishments has been done, or you find yourself disassociating, what makes you come alive? What gets you back to center? What gives you that spark? So you now have the opportunity to write the script according to your heart's true desire. Once you clearly decide upon your true desire and know that you'll be ready and deserving of them, they'll rush into your life as though by magic. Joy is the highest energy of all. It is the magical sense that everything is possible. Joy springs from appreciating the gifts within each moment. Joy allows you to attract and create your present and future moments at their highest possible levels. You care deeply about children, and they readily respond to your love. So this is absolutely your inner child work. You gotta love that little kid, what you were, what you've been protecting all these years. You have to love that kid and let them come out and play and let them show you what brings them alive. So it requires love and affection and attention. We can clear and open up your heart to schedule that so that you can have more time and energy to the children who need you, even if that child is yourself. But also, I want to bring up the idea that you, in doing the inner child work, you're initially letting out that kid. Awesome. But in letting out that kid, they're going to meet you where they were, where they went away inside of you for all those times, years, And then it's you getting to know that version of yourself and having that version of yourself grow with the person that you are now. Yes, it's absolutely a form of reparenting, but you get to watch that child of you grow from where it was into the now. So it's like you actually get to pick and choose what happens. And you being also in that locked away child mindset too, because it's like you have two minds in this. You get to decide your course of action to the adult version of yourself that is morphing you into an adult. So I'm seeing this bridge between the two get very close together and then finally close. And when that younger version of yourself grows into and with the you of now, what about you is different? What is it that you want that you wouldn't either allow yourself to want before or that you find yourself newly wanting now? So after all is said and done, let's see. Oh. You will be needing a mentor. This is going to be done in fated time, and you will sit back and watch. You will be taking divine inspiration and action towards your life. So I see you getting into absolutely the flow, action oriented. And I think that you will have somebody assigned in your life who's going to be a mentor of sorts. I do see you reaching out for them and looking for them. Tick-tock. It's all in divine timing. Something is coming up ahead even now. So stay tuned. I really hope that this made sense. There's a lot that's growing right now. It's actually pretty impressive and beautiful. If you have questions about this reading or any other kind of reading, again, reach out. I look forward to connecting with you. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, know that you're greatly loved and appreciated. It's so important to look at your why and your motivation right now, but also, are you looking at what other people are doing and not focusing on yourself? This could be the biggest kicker. This could be you. This could be somebody that you're dealing with, but whoever it is, they need to honestly have that god-awful honest conversation with themselves and check and see what their actual motivation is. Do they want something that somebody else has? Or do they want an old dream? There needs to be some sort of recalibration of their wants, needs, and the why behind it. So this, whoever this is involving, they need to stop looking outside everywhere, everyone, and holding themselves up to them as if it's going to give them any sort of accurate picture. Your life and their life are two very different things that are on two very different paths. They could be compatible, but it's also still not your path, and it's so important that you focus on yours right now. So this is also telling you that it's important to let go of the expectations that were once held in place, because they're no longer viable, endpoints. There's no resources for it. So this is telling you, you got to step back and look at what the driving motive is, look at what the ambitions were, look at the why behind it, and think of the big picture. What is it that you want to accomplish? Which again is going through a major recalibration, but you can't be what somebody else is. I mean, you could do similar things, you could do the same things, for God's sakes, but you have to authentically be yourself throughout the entire ordeal. So this, it's a major point for authenticity, and also maybe your why isn't what's going to keep you motivated anymore. Maybe what was once your talisman of hope isn't quite the talisman anymore. It's become a voodoo doll and it's causing you nothing but pain. You might need to let it go. So there needs to be something newly made up and in place, and not go for instant gratification right now. Look at the big picture. Where is it that you want to be with all of this? I really hope that this made sense. Let me know how this turns out for you. So it looks like you have been, or you or somebody has been holding back the truth on somebody in your life, and I feel like there's been a ton of excuses and compensation made up to them. And it's coming from a place of not actually being in guilt, but feeling guilty for them. And I see that innocence is being restored. Now, I'm not telling you to ghost everybody and run, that's not it. But you've taken on a lot in this situation, and I think that you've been giving so much to the point where you have blocked a lot of the flow towards you. This is not in a compatible motion right now. This is telling you to stop trying to, I guess, make excuses for somebody in your life. Allow for the change to happen. Allow yourself to actually be taken care of a little bit more, rather than you overcompensating and overgiving towards somebody or something that doesn't quite need it or deserve it, or who is not entitled to it and yet probably acts a little entitled. This is going to be changing the direction, because once you cut off somebody's supply, it's going to change the dynamic. Whether this was done intentionally or unintentionally, that's up in the air, but you're going to find out exactly what the motivation was in a little bit. And the connection, whatever it is going to change direction. So I'm really looking forward to this change for you. I think that it'll be really enlightening. And also I feel like there is a sense of comfort that is coming towards you, like you are finally going to be coddled, cradled, and embraced. And I think that you'll be able to decompress and start kind of getting to sing your own individual tune again. I hope this made sense. Somebody does not feel valued at all, and I see that this is going to involve a little bit of defensiveness. I see peace treaty that's coming in, and it feels like I have a sneeze coming on. But it also feels like this is going to allow for some sort of I don't want to call it a reunion, some sort of gathering to happen. I feel like somebody's defenses are really up. But I also see that this is somebody who's feeling majorly insecure. Nobody's engaging in it. Everybody's taking the high road, but there is major insecurity around this, and upset, and a sense of coldness too. I see that somebody needs to feel valued, and nobody is right now. So I think that there's a lot of miscommunication that is coming into play, and that people are just disconnecting from it altogether. It feels backbreaking, and it feels like there's a peaceful solution to this. I feel like the struggle is internal. So I want to draw more on this. Somebody needs to feel valued. They don't want to go through this again, I know, because the Strength card is coming up. So if something is making them feel challenged, then they have to rethink the situation and decide where they want to go with it. I see them being grounded and immature. Well, not immature. Grounded and mature. But initially it's this feeling of inferiority and immaturity. So it's like this person needs to take a minute to remember who the F they are. And I think that they are quite doing that, and that they're not actively deciding to continuously put themselves in this situation and be reactionary. I do feel like reactions are something that are major points right now. Let's see. They're going to actually start to choose themselves and to feed their discipline to restore balance, rather than having somebody goad them all the time. I do feel like healing is going to be a major factor in all this, and developing better self-confidence. This person is not going to lose themselves again. So if this is you, congratulations. If this is someone that you're dealing with, it's going to get better. Oh, this isn't about being in a relationship, by the way. I'm not telling you it's going to get better, like stick it out. If something is toxic, abusive, or illegal, I'm always going to tell you to get away from it. So just understand that. Understand whoever this is about, if it's not you, whatever their situation is, them as an individual, they'll get better themselves. I hope that made better sense. Relationships are changing, whether it's romantic or platonic, I don't care, but your relationships are going through a major change right now. Activities are changing. What you plug your time into is also changing. Your environment is. But I also see that there are synchronicities surrounding it that you are kind of pinpointing. for example, an animal or a number, you know, the classics. God, I mean, crows and 911 recently have been changing for me. I know that this is a collective change, but it's also getting you to invoke the divine feminine, and it also might be the dark feminine too. So keep that in mind. We all have masculine and feminine inside of us. It's time for the divine feminine to embrace their self and I guess start using their nurturing and healing qualities. So I all around like this, and I see it as something that is going to be unique and inspirational and very pushy. Let me know how this turns out for you. Ticked off feminine energy is having a crazy breakthrough with whatever their challenger is. They're looking at it in a whole new light. They're rising above the problem. They're rising above the confusion. They're clearing out anything that is giving them an air of confusion, and they're not pulling any punches on this. They know that they have to see this in an entirely different light. What they were looking at before, it was while they're in the throes of it, and it feels like they no longer belong anymore. This was what they were trying to avoid. They were trying to avoid being left out in the cold. They were trying to avoid the hardship. They were trying to avoid changes that they did not want to make in their life. And that was exactly what came about. They have got to face what they don't want to face in themselves in order to make the changes. So this is something where they are going to have to lay down, and they're actually going to have to do some sort of introspective resting phase in their life. They have the 3 swords over their head, like it's going to be something that drops on them at any given time, and it's not. That actually they have a sword underneath. They could break away from all of this. They are the one who has to make the change in their life. They can't find their happiness in something outside of themselves. They have to find it in themselves. There's nobody who can unlock the door and drop kick them through it on this. So this is kind of tough love from the universe saying, listen, I know you didn't want to do this, but guess what? You're going to do it, and you're going to feel happier that you did, but it's going to suck for a little bit. You often find your destiny on the road you take to avoid it. And this is definitely part of your destiny, and it sucks. I'm just going to say it like that. But on the other side of this, we have Judgment, and we have the King of Pentacles. Somebody who's building an empire, who's very self-assured and aware, who they have faced their judgment. They are not getting lost in the clouds anymore. They are confident that they can take on the world themselves, and it's not like the world's against them, so it's not even that. And that they are constantly in a state of growing, and that they don't have to be so strong the entire time. They can actually ease up on their life. So this change is really going to click some things into place, and I'm very excited for you on that front. You have a lot more resources than I think that you realize because you're looking for the validation externally. So let me know how this makes sense to you, and good luck. What do you need to hear? How you form the habit of being yourself. As an effect of this neutral habitation, the 2 realities of the inner mind and the outer mind world seem to be almost inseparable. For instance, if you can never stop thinking about your problems, then your mind and your life will merge together as one. The objective world is now colored by the perception of your subjective mind. Thus, reality continuously conforms. You'll become lost in some illusion of that dream. You could call this a rut. We all fall into them, but it goes much deeper than that. Not just your actions, but also your attitude, your feelings become repetitive. You have formed the habit of being yourself by becoming, in a sense, enslaved to your environment. Your thinking has become equal to the conditions in your life, and thus you, as a quantum observer, are creating a mind that only affirms those circumstances into your specific reality. All you are doing is reacting your external, unknown, unchanging world. In a very real way, you have become an effect of circumstances outside of yourself. You have allowed yourself to give up control of your destiny. Unlike Bill Murray's character in the movie Groundhog Day, You're not even fighting against this ceaseless monotony of what you like and what your life has become. Worse, you aren't the victim of some mysterious and unseen force that has placed you in this repetitive loop. You are the creator of the loop. The good news is that since you create this loop, you can choose to end it. The quantum model of reality tells us that to change our lives, we must fundamentally change the way we think, act, and feel. We must change our state of being, because how we think, feel, and behave is in essence our personality that creates the personal reality. So to create a new personal reality, a new life, we must create a new personality. We must become someone else. To change then is to be greater than our present circumstances and greater than our environment. How incredibly confusing is that at first? You do need to create a new aspect of yourself to create a different experience and conditions. But I feel like there's a simpler way to put it. So yeah, it's going to be breaking a habit, but you're in control of the habit. I think that's what it was pointing out.